Welcome to Ctrl+Alt+Narrate, your go-to source for captivating stories and engaging conversations in the world of digital media. We are your hosts, Sneesha and Momna, and join us as we learn about the journeys of our incredible guests from the MDM program.
So Alicia, our wonderful producer, let's Ctrl+Alt+Narrate your story.
Let's go.
Would you like to start by introducing yourself and sharing your educational background?
Hi, my name is Alicia. I'm from Mumbai in India. That's on the west coast of India. Because a lot of people really like to know whether it's in the north or south. But nope, I'm from the west coast of India.
She has to clarify.
Yeah.
And so my background in education, I'm actually a Bachelor of Arts in History. From St. Xavier's College in Mumbai. But I also did a minors in psychology and a subject that's called Ancient Indian Culture, History and Archaeology. So I do have a bit of background in museum studies and archaeology as well, along with history on the whole. But apart from that, I do also have a small certification in digital design. That's kind of about it before I came to MDM.
That's a very colorful background. I actually didn't know your degree experience at all. That's awesome. You went all over the place.
Yes.
Any reason why you kind of wanted to keep switching fields?
Yeah. So when I finished my undergrad, that's when I got hired straight out of campus and I started working with Star India, which was back then a 21st Century Fox company. And then eventually in 2018, Disney took over. So I got to work with two of the biggest media houses in the world. And then eventually COVID happened. And I think I had hit a point where I was probably working for about 5-ish years already. And I hit a point in my career where I think I'd learned everything I had to do in that role. And I started looking out for new challenges. And that's when in 2021, I got selected for a leadership program with Google. And this is about 200-ish people from all around the world from creative industries. And I realized that storytelling, while it was my forte and it's what I was doing at my job, I had started to feel a little bit of fatigue in that. And because what happened was as soon as I started working in television, that's when streaming and social media content creation started, pretty much parallelly. So when I hit a point where I thought, okay, I've learned everything that I had to do for television production, I can run a set, I can run an entire production. I started to feel like, okay, what more? What next? What can I do? And when I did this program, I realized that there's so many more ways in which storytelling can happen. And it was always at the back of my mind something that I wanted to do something in digital content creation or digital media on the whole. And when I got to that program, I realized there were people who were doing museum designs or there's a festival called Vivid Sydney in Sydney, where they do projection mapping on, I think, some of the most historic buildings, including the Opera House. So I'd met someone who was actually an artist who would make designs for that. And so different creative careers from around the world. And that's when I realized, okay, I need to look for something more. What can, get me, where can I do things that fuse digital media, content creation, storytelling, in what new ways can I put my skills to use. And I learned about this thing called transmedia storytelling, where you can make one story universe, world play out across multiple platforms. Essentially what we know of Marvel and say Harry Potter doing. But I think that's starting to grow with video games in different media. So I started learning more about that, and one thing led to another, and I found that word, transmedia storytelling, on MDM's website.
Nice.
And that's when I was like, okay, this is it. And I started looking up more about the program. And I also had a friend who recently finished her master's at TMU. So I knew a little more about what the graduate student experience is here at TMU. And that's how I landed up at MDM.
Awesome. Well, we're very grateful to have you here because your talents keep this program going. And I think you're easily one of the pillars, like Maeve and Cody. So
100%.
very grateful that you're here.
Not to mention, your resume is insane.
I know. Please hire her. She's the
hire
perfect
me.
resume candidate ever. But let's go into our first segment and learn more about you. Loading, who are you? So, what made you choose the MDM program? I know you told us lots at the beginning, but is there anything that you might have left out? Anything you want to share in specific?
Yeah, why MDM? Why Canada? Because you've also been to other countries as well, right? So what exactly, aside from the storytelling aspect and how great MDM is, was there something else out there that drew you to coming here?
Yeah. I think it was a chance to just take your skills and combine it with new skills that I did not know before. So I think because I've spent time in an intensive television production industry, it left me with pretty much no time to upskill beyond what might have been required immediately for my role.
Right.
And so I think I saw people around me getting better at digital illustrations or UI UX design, and I felt like I did feel a little bit left behind. That okay, I know what I can do in production, so I'm confident with my skills on that. But I thought somewhere down the line, I hit a point where I was not learning anything new. And so this offered me a chance to put different skills to use at the same time. And I also did not exactly know of, at that point when I was applying to this program, which is like about 2 years ago, I did not really know exactly what kind of a target role that I wanted to do in the future. It was still a very much exploratory quarter life crisis situation. But then coming here and being able to try a little bit of everything, that's what exactly worked for me. And I think why MDM made sense at that point, that I can learn new skills without the pressure of feeling like, oh, I'm going to screw up on the job and something's going to go really wrong if a rookie like me is taking charge of those things. So now I feel more confident about other technology or software. And I think that's pretty much why MDM made sense at that time. And to answer your question about like different countries, right? And why Canada, I think it wasn't so much of the country. I think a lot of people do make the country as the center point of their choices when thinking about studying abroad. But for me, it was the program. So another fun fact was that I was trying to apply to university in Singapore actually before that, because they did have something slightly similar in terms of a communication and design program, but then they changed their curriculum. And so I could not apply there anymore because that didn't exist. And then TMU was the next choice, and I also applied to OCAD, which I got in, and
Wow.
And
what program?
It's called Digital Futures. So it's kind of similar to what MDM offers, but it was a little more theoretical. So that was my other second choice. I did get in, but when I got that acceptance, TMU hadn't replied yet. And I kind of just had to take a chance and say, sorry, I think I'm going to hold out and wait for that one. And thankfully it worked out.
I'm so glad you're here.
I was going to say, you always strike me as someone who prefers hands-on learning and like building things, considering like all the different courses that you've taken so far. Like you're always doing something.
Always needs that need to constantly learn. I really admire.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think I would definitely self-identify as a nerd, and that's a label that I wear with a lot of pride.
As you should.
Yeah. And so I think my brain is one of those which does not stop at any given point of time. Even probably while I'm dreaming, I'm still thinking about things. So I always feel like I need to keep doing things. I need to keep learning. And the fact that there was a point where I wasn't learning anything new anymore, that really prompted me to like get out of there, learn something new and do better, become a better version of yourself. I think that's what pushes me.
I admire that's your motivation and driving factor, because it's not easy to develop that mindset, I guess, to always want to learn something. I noticed, at least for myself, that in undergrad, I had the passion to learn. I started off with it. And then over time, I just lost a love for learning. And I absolutely hated being in school. And then this program brought it back. But I think you would probably differ in the way that you would purposefully find things to learn in that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to learn that from you.
I actually do have to give my undergraduate program a lot of credit for it, because when I started my undergraduate program, that's when my college basically broke off from the main university. So how it works in Mumbai is that there's one university for the entire city, and there are multiple colleges that run under it.
Okay.
So we are still getting a degree. It's just the meaning of college there is different from what college is in Canada. So we were running independently, and so they did not really have to toe the line with the university curriculum. They kind of had to follow the basic requirements, and then our university had my college had the chance to design the curriculum in whatever way they wanted. So instead of writing boring exams, they would push us and saying, hey, do you have to present your whatever subject matter is in a very creative way? And so we'd be doing short films, we would do plays, we would put on mock panel discussions so that we could present our topics in that way. And I think that really became the foundation for me to find stories in everything, which I think it's my go-to mantra for my life.
That's beautiful.
I was going to say, like, as a candidate, future employers, if you're watching this, having the will to learn and also just being driven to wanting to learn new things is a great quality to have. So if you're looking to hire someone, once again, she's right here.
Yeah, self-starter, self-motivated, all of that. Me.
Self-learner, does it all herself.
Which I think is great because like you're constantly providing your brain with that stimulation and like, you know, not wasting your talents, which you are very talented and very driven, and you have a lot of energy, which like when I look at you doing all the things that you're doing, I'm like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could balance all those things. But I wanted to ask, like, what is one philosophy that you like to live by?
I think apart from learning, I don't know if it's philosophy, but I think I'll probably jump back to one of the questions that you always ask people is a quote that you live by.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's, again, comes from Princess Diaries. I think everything I do comes from some kind of pop culture reference because that's just who I am. But for me, it's the Princess Diaries one when she's reading the letter from her dad and it says, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important.
Oh my God.
And I think I'm really living that right now because there are days every single day and now we're inching towards the finish line for our program and I feel like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's next? And I think it's the most uncertain that my future has been. But I think waking up every day and realizing that, no, I need to show up for myself and do better. Like, I cannot spend time feeling scared about what's next. I need to put in the work now so that 3 months later, I can be chilling. And another thing is Ben Platt, when he won his first Tony, he said, the things that make you strange are the things that make you powerful. And I think for nerds like me, and I think you find a lot of people judging and hating on people for liking things. And I mean, I'm a K-pop fan, so I have to deal with a lot of people saying, hey, isn't that just for teenage girls? And,
God,
you know, what are you going to be doing with it? And when the same people would definitely scream and cry over a football match, they would judge girls for liking music or sports or whatever fandoms they want to. So I think for me, Ben's quote really hit home because it's more about just being true to yourself and doing whatever you want because that's what makes you you and that's what makes you strong.
Exactly. And you should be proud of that.
Yeah.
Embracing like your philosophies and ideologies, like that is just what makes you you, and like you don't have to ever apologize for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're working on a ton of projects right now. Your MRP with Little Canada, and then your fandom IG page, and then your newsletter, and then game design experiments. Tell us about the projects that light you up the most right now.
Okay. Definitely my MRP is something that I'm really excited about because it is something that I've not done before as a professional. So we're building an exit experience for Little Canada. So it's once you go through the entire exhibit, they wanted us to create something where one final touch point, which is going to leave the audience with a memory that they'll always have. And, you know, something, an impression, a last impression basically. Because right now they do have an ending point for their entire exhibit, but it's not quite as pronounced because they do have many other what they call wow experiences throughout. And so we decided that we wanted to do something that is interactive, and all of us definitely decided that we wanted to do something that has storytelling involved. So we decided to create an archival interactive map where you can stop and read stories that others have posted in there, so people can talk about which places that resonated with them the most after the tour, or places that they want to visit, or even share that they have a memory with a particular place. So it's like one large collective public mural in a way, if you have to say so. And
very wholesome,
so it is. It's something that's created with every single person who's going to pass by and pass through that exhibit. And no 2 days in that exhibit will look the same because every single day it's going to keep updating with stories of people. So I think that's what really excited us about doing this because we wanted to create something that is constantly evolving. We thought that would be a great challenge. And my newsletter that I write with one of my best friends, in a few days, it's going to be 10 years since we first met. And we both were baby interns on the first day of our job, really scared entering this big bad world of like media industry. we were super clueless. She was so nervous that we would barely make eye contact with each other for the first few days because we were just so scared of everything. But then we eventually navigated the entire internship together. And she eventually moved back to New Delhi a couple of years into the job because she wanted to change career paths. And so our friendship became long distance very soon. Between Mumbai and Delhi, and then the pandemic happened, so we couldn't see each other very often. And then now obviously I moved here, but there's something that we realized throughout the years, and me moving here right now, I realized I was basically living the life that she lived all those years ago when she first moved to Mumbai. And she was also starting over at a new apartment in Delhi exactly when I had moved here. So we were having a lot of discussions about adulting and things like, things you don't realize when you just move out for the first time on your own. And I was just talking about how I was more in awe of her for doing that at the age of 20, moving to a new city by herself and starting over. Because I was like, I would not have been able to do that at 20. No way. And then that's when we decided that, because we also don't get to speak to each other as often. She's busy with work and obviously almost a 10-hour time difference. So we decided that why not write each other a letter every month, because she loves New York Times and Nora Ephron style of writing. We are writing long letters to each other, and it's funny, it's emotional, and it's smart. So that's why we decided that we're going to start a newsletter. So every month, we started this last November, and every month one of us writes a letter to each other, which is essentially a recap of everything we did, we saw, we watched, or emotions that we experienced in the past 1 month. So it's kind of us recapping a very big milestone year in our life, and a year with a lot of changes, but still trying to hold on and make sense of what matters to us in a year where the world is completely a dumpster fire. So it's just us writing like this nice love letter to our friendship.
Why don't you share the name of your newsletter that's on Substack?
Yes. It's called Notes Across the Ocean, and
Beautiful.
It's inspired by actually a ritual that we started off as interns, where she went on her first big outdoor shoot as an intern, and it's basically a privilege that you would not get until you were like much senior up in the order, because company has to spend on you going to an external location. And so she got me a postcard because she was shooting in a national park. So she got me like a baby tiger postcard, and she wrote about her experiences on the back of the postcard. So it kind of started as a tradition that ever since then, every time we traveled, we would send each other a postcard.
That's adorable.
And so we thought, okay, our newsletter should also be like this virtual postcard that we're sending to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so sweet. I really hope you all check out this newsletter, because I subscribed recently.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I subscribed as well when she first mentioned it, and whenever I'd get it in the mail, like I would literally sit and just have my cup of tea and just read through it. And you're someone who goes out to events in Toronto more than most Toronto natives that I know. So it's whenever you're recapping,
I try.
Yeah, whenever you're recapping your experiences, I'm like, oh, this happened. Oh, okay. But it's really you're such a good writer, and you have such a way with words where you bring so much emotional depth. It's I'm literally sitting next to you, watching you experiencing it almost. If that makes sense, especially when you're making Toronto-based references. I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a really wonderful newsletter. So if you are watching this and are interested, definitely subscribe to it.
Like, share, subscribe.
Right?
Please check it out.
You have a lot of projects that you've been working on. However, I do want to know what your ultimate side quest would be, outside of work, outside of school, outside of everything that you're currently doing. What's your biggest ultimate dream or thing you want to do?
I think, there's one thing that I definitely want is to eventually be an influencer of some sort.
Yes.
That's my dream, because influencers get to go to every single major sports event, and they get paddock passes or front row seats at every event. And I'm a youth sports fan. A lot of people also get invited to concerts for free. So I think my side quest would be someone who gets paid to attend all of these things. So I get paid to be a fangirl. And I think that's why I started my Instagram page. It's called Permanent Fangirl, because that's who I am. But it was something that I kind of just started on a whim. So, and it was a July in 2020. I remember that very clearly, because somebody sent me a meme and they said, hey, this sounds like something you would have made. And that's when something lit up in my brain. I said, hey, I should make things if people said that, oh, this sounds like you. And back then it was just something silly where I'd post maybe a few times a week because it felt like, oh, the world was really dreary at that point and people need a reason to smile. Exactly. So I would make memes about that. And then crossovers started happening. And I think that page is a reason and a way for me to show off that, oh, the East can meet the West in terms of pop culture. So I post a lot of K-pop edits that are set to Bollywood music or F1 edits to some other songs. But it's basically my reason to start that page is one day this thing is going to be so big and it's going to get me places. Permanent Fangirl is going to be an identity that the world is going to know. It's going to happen.
We're manifesting that.
I would love to see some vlogs though, like of like, you know, your day to day and even just like you fangirling.
It's kind of right now it's a anonymous thing. This is the debut of people in the world knowing that it's me behind this page. But I don't think I ever plan to show my face on that page, but I definitely would like to make day in the life where it's just like voiceovers.
Oh, but like I would love to see like vlogs of you just, you know, being invited to the F1 events and you just, you know, sharing that experience. Because the one that just happened in Montreal, like I saw so many influencers that I would have never thought that they were like F1 fans. Like they were there and like they're just like enjoying the time of their life.
Again, sponsor me because I am a fan of those things and I will make you good content. Yeah. Everyone can sponsor me. I'm a fan of so many things. If you're looking at this table right now, the table things behind me, I'm interested in a lot of things. I will make you good content. And I know all of the references.
Yep. Everything. I could speak to that. You make great content.
Yeah.
So I want to head into our next segment, Control Hot Takes. So you've worked in both traditional and digital media spaces. Can you share a hot take that you have? Because I know you have many.
I did have many, but I think the one that is at the top of my mind right now is that we label a lot of content cringe because we think that it does not appeal to us, especially I think in television. I've seen that in India. When I was not in the industry myself, I'd look at a lot of things and say, hey, this is so cringe. Why would someone even make it? This is so irrelevant, especially in television dramas. And then when streaming happened, again, there was a lot of people who'd be like, oh, why don't we make more streaming kind of content? Because, you know, that's more elite and it's more suited to Western taste and people will not laugh at us for what we're making. But what they don't realize and what most people don't realize is that whatever's getting made, what you call cringe, it's only getting made because there is an audience that is actively engaging with it and they want this kind of content.
Yeah.
A thing that I've been able to have a look at is that when you're in boardrooms where decisions in content media or media houses are being made, it's all number driven. Whatever is getting made is because people are watching it, and because more people are watching it, there's advertisers willing to buy advertising space in those slots. So if people keep flocking to so-called cringe things, more of it will keep getting made. It's a vicious cycle and it's something that nobody can solve until audiences start supporting content that might be, I don't know, they call it alt or like art house media. If you support it, sure, there'll be more of that getting made because advertisers will want to be there. But again, what you think might be cringe might actually be the biggest escape or source of comfort for somebody else.
Yeah, and if it's also not like dangerous or harming anyone, then I don't see the problem in it existing.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it also comes down to the idea that also people are so afraid of being perceived as well. Like they're like, oh, I don't want to be cringe if I like, you know, associate myself in these hobbies. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like enjoy it while you can. Like,
yeah, K-pop especially.
Yeah. There's a lot of like K-pop bands that have different concepts that you can try to align with. If you're not into like the I go cutesy concept, then it's fine. You don't have to make such a big stink out of it and like hate on like the groups for existing.
I mean, with that, it's mostly a lot of racism that definitely comes into play.
Yeah.
But I think people just label K-pop as one thing, as a genre, but they don't realize that there's multiple genres of music within K-pop itself. Yeah. So it's a matter of you just checking out music that might more fit your taste.
Yeah. Even with anime too, like people just go off and they go crazy with the hate. It's like, this is unnecessary. It's not harming anyone. It's literally like cartoons.
Yeah.
Now we have some rapid fire. Would you rather really hard questions. So I'm really
I'm
excited.
scared.
Me too.
Bring it on.
I'll ask the first one.
Okay.
I can't wait for the one that you're going to ask.
I know.
Because I want to know. Would you rather create a visual or written novel that becomes a cult hit among fandom communities, or direct a documentary that redefines how people see traditional media and reinvention?
Documentary.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, a quick explanation on why.
Yeah. I expected the first time.
I think a documentary would be able to really go behind the scenes of fandom culture and give people a better idea of it versus a visual novel that might be perceived as fiction.
Okay,
That's
good
fair.
answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather land a high-paying dream role that makes you rich and respected, but it's with your least favorite F1 team, or make it to the final round of interviews for your favorite F1 team and your ideal position, but get rejected in the end?
Okay, I think this is slightly easier to. It's not as difficult as you probably thought this one is, but I would definitely take the job at the least liked team.
Really?
Yeah, because I would still get to be around the world of F1.
You would take a job at Red Bull?
I love Red Bull. I'm a Red Bull fan.
Wait, no. I thought you were a Ferrari fan.
I am a Ferrari fan, but I also love Red Bull. I'm a Max Verstappen fan, Sneesha. We've spoken about this.
Sorry. Yes, you have.
Yeah, but I think my least liked team would probably be McLaren at this point.
Yeah, that I can see.
Because I think historically Ferrari and McLaren have always been at war. Like if you know hashtag Spygate. I don't have anything against the current McLaren drivers. I think it's just when there's a team that's so much better than your favorite team, you automatically start hating them. But I love Oscar Piastri. But yes, I would take up a job at McLaren simply because I can still be around
Oscar.
I can be in. It means I'm getting paid very well. I'm very respected. It's my dream role, and I'm still in the Formula One world in some way or the other. I think that's a win. I think one thing that is a truth that most people don't realize, and me as a boomer who's had more work experience than most people around here,
I'm not a boomer.
I feel like one sometimes, but yeah. But I think you'll always find good and bad people in every organization you go to. So you cannot purely make your decision based on like, okay, there's someone bad out here. Because if it's not a person, it's sometimes the company's values that you might not align with. But it is a role that can be a launchpad for you for bigger things. And that is unfortunately the reality of the world as is, that you're not going to get everything that you want to in that role. And I think I've mentioned this to you guys as well, that it might be coming up for later, but dream jobs as well, it's a myth. Don't fall for that trap.
Damn.
Good to know. I think that was a very insightful answer. We'll go into that, but we have one more.
Yeah. Would you rather leak exclusive fandom tea that goes viral but accidentally burn a few industry bridges, or hold on to the tea, stay in everyone's good books, but miss your one shot at going viral for your content?
And for those who don't know what tea means, it's just like hot gossip.
Gossip.
Yeah.
I would definitely leak the tea because I'm also someone who considers myself as a little bit of a lady whistledown. And most of my friends know that I am one of the people that's always interested in gossip.
You also know everything.
I know. The thing is, okay,
she has the tea, guys.
I think, again, why I make the lady whistle down comparison to myself is that I am a bit of a wallflower in a lot of situations. So when I'm in the room at most places, people kind of just assume that I'm not listening or I seem insignificant enough. They will start talking in front of me. And I just get to know all of this information that probably should not know. If I can go viral and become like a Tomua or like a Diet Sabya, for those who know, I would do that. Because I am Lady Whistledown.
Okay, now we're going to put you through the ringer a little bit and have Hannah on for chaos time.
Yeah.
Hello. I have two more would you rather questions for you. So thank you for putting me at the end of this segment. Would you rather never watch F1 again or never watch sports again? That means no going to hockey games, no tennis.
I would not watch F1 again because I don't think I can go off sports completely.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
It's a toss-up between F1 and tennis.
F1 again or like no other sports again. I guess is a more
I think
accurate
I would
question.
completely lose my mind if I don't get to watch any other sport. So I would rather not watch F1 again, because I think, again, as always, because we do a lot of these questions which have loopholes. I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. There's always a way for me to know what's happening in the world of F1 without watching a race.
You look so hurt.
Sorry. No. I'm not letting you loophole me. You
Okay.
can loophole them. You can't
Okay.
loophole me. Not interact with F1 again. Like full stop.
I would give it up.
Okay.
Because I do need to watch other sports in my life. I would go, I would lose my mind. I would.
Okay. Can we go to a Blue Jays game this summer?
Yes.
My second question is, would you rather, this is the last one.
Yeah.
So, would you rather not ever listen to K-pop again? Or you can't watch any K-dramas or like Indian drama shows? Because you mentioned that
Yeah.
in the episode. You're like, you're talking about the Indian drama shows. I'm like, I'm adding that to my question.
This is a tough one. This is a really tough one.
Yeah.
I would probably choose not watching dramas.
I'm
'Cause
not surprised.
I do like listening to K-pop a lot. I feel like it's something that I think definitely changed the way I look at the world, and it opened my mind up to a lot of new cultures. And because of K-pop being like the gateway fandom, I started watching Thai dramas, Chinese dramas, and I also started to learn more about their culture. So I think I would keep that just for like the widening the horizons aspect of it.
I was
and
gonna say.
Right, go.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say. I feel like K-pop's the reason Permanent Fangirl exists.
Kind of, yes.
Kind of.
My first ever post on my page was K-pop related. So
I was just going to say, like, you're so right when you said that K-pop is so like more than pop music.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of people pigeonhole into that. And although I'm not like an avid K-pop listener, I like totally appreciate it. So I respect that decision 1,000%. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed my little segment.
We
Bye,
definitely
Hannah.
enjoyed it.
yeah.
Did you enjoy it? You looked more hurt.
I'm seeing some shook
I-
faces at the end of the.
I was
but-
very shocked, but I respect your reasoning as to why, because I think for me, F1 is kind of my whole, like, I don't know, I have like these certain hobbies and interests, and then once I have them and once I find a connection with them,
You're
I
very
can never
invested.
Yeah, and it's huge in like my world.
And your
like-
identity too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can also come back to that because I started watching F1 when I was a kid, and this is when Michael Schumacher was still in his initial era, and that's where I was introduced to the sport. And back then there was no other social media, so it was just me watching the races every weekend. And there was a point where in 2014 I kind of just dropped off because I did not have enough time to watch it and keep up with the sport. So I have lived about 7 years of my life without really looking into F1, because at that point it was just that, okay, Lewis Hamilton is winning, whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Just about to ask you about
Yeah.
that, but in a sec.
yeah. So I have lived at a point where I've been watching other sports but not F1. So I think it would be a fair choice here.
Okay, question. Did you think that the Lewis dominance was boring?
For me, it was.
Okay.
But I think what also added to me coming back to the sport and now enjoying it much more is that I have social media to interact with. I think when Lewis dominance started, I did not have social media yet. It was still like 2012. I did have Facebook, but I don't think people were really talking about it on Facebook. But again, what's very different from my interaction with F1 or other sports now is that there's more women in the fandoms on social media.
Yes.
And they make it so much more enjoyable as an experience versus back then. The only times I would hear about sports is from other men around me, and I would not enjoy that
Have
at
you
all.
been quizzed like without reason?
Oh, yes. Okay.
So have I.
A little bit of a story time. As always, it is with me. The first sport I ever properly started following was cricket, and this is in like 1990s. Like I was a toddler, but everybody around, when you're in India, everybody watches cricket.
Yeah.
And back then the Indian team was not doing so well, but I don't know why. I started watching Australia, and that has been my team in cricket. And I know it's going to raise a lot of feathers among people being like, oh my God, how can you support Australia? You're Indian, whatever. But the first sports person I ever started following was Ricky Ponting. And I was a child, and I had people telling me like, oh, you're probably watching it because, there's like hot looking men in the Australian cricket team. I was like, I'm a child. I don't even know what it's like to have a crush at this point. But people still questioned it. And it infuriates me. And now and again, why I would not give up watching any other sport is because it's so much fun chatting about sports online with other women.
It is. Yeah.
Whether it's
More
on
welcoming.
Tumblr or Twitter and so many women who've started podcasts of their own trying to explain sports to other people.
Yes, yeah.
So that it's easier for them, and they're not gatekeeping it as it was with other people with them.
I agree.
So I think it's a community that I cherish and would always enjoy.
That's a good
yeah,
answer. I can respect that.
I think why I guess back then nobody was really talking to me about Hamilton. And if somebody really told me about Bruce at that point, I probably would have been right back into the sport. It's just at that point I knew obviously about the battle and everything. It was you can't go on the internet without seeing it.
Yeah.
But nobody was really talking to me about the sport back then, the state of it back then, in a way that was interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think that's what's really changed about Formula One and got more people in.
That's true. I also, to give some context, I'm a very new fan relatively in comparison to Alicia. I'm 2.5 years now, maybe. I think I've been watching 2 years around. So still new, but I've gone into deep dives.
That's new?
That is very new.
I would
that's
say
like
that's
2
new.
seasons.
There's
That's nothing.
there's so much history that is, I think I'm all caught up. That's a different story. I think I've done my research.
You've done really well.
Thank you. I've done lots of research. I've done lots of, I've watched lots of documentaries. I've watched lots of YouTube. How does an F1 car work? Because I'm just fascinated with the science of it.
You invested.
I am. And fun fact, I actually, when I first saw an F1 car, I was like, that's ugly. I hate, what is that thing? And I was like, you call that a race car?
More than
And I was
Cybertrucks? More than Cybertrucks?
I
at the time?
actually did not like it. I was like, I'm not going to be interested in watching this shape. There's no way that. Yeah, I was so, and then.
It just feels bizarre.
Yeah, I agree. And then I started seeing content about Lewis, and what actually brought me to the sport was the charities that he was doing work
that's
for.
really cool.
And I was like, you know what? He seems like a really good person. And you know me, I like good people.
Yeah.
So I got more familiar with the sport. And then I also have a thing where I'm I'm not just going to like the best person in the sport. When it comes to anything, I usually finding an underdog to support.
Up and
So
coming.
that's why, and that's why my favorite drivers are Charles Leclerc and then Oscar Piastri. I still do really like Lewis. I really like Kimi, and then I like Ollie Behrman.
First podium.
Yeah, I know. He's so proud of him. But so I have my fair share of this is what makes it hard though, because having more drivers than 3 makes it really hard, because then you don't know
which team to root for.
Yeah, exactly. And they're from 4 different teams. We have Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and Haas.
Yeah.
Ollie needs to get out of Haas. And then it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But anyway, continuing on.
I don't know who any of these people are yet. I will invest once my MRP is done, because my brain has no more capacity. So I'm just going to sit here and nod my head.
Yeah. We'll elaborate more once you're caught up.
Yeah.
But on to our next segment, deep dive, no edits. It's me. So if there were no obstacles in your path, what would your ideal life be like? I guess an influencer.
A lot of traveling for sure, because I do come from a country that does not have a very strong passport.
Yeah.
So no obstacles for me would be traveling without having to go through months and months of paperwork for visas. 100% that. Also, obviously living the influencer life, which if you're watching this, you can make this happen for me now. I definitely want to be able to go to as many sports tournaments that I want to go to. I've been to, I love watching tennis. I've been to Wimbledon, but I want to go to the other 4 Grand Slam places. I've never been to any Broadway show, so being able to travel is the biggest dream. And just being able to have a lot of free time for hobbies. I think there's some quote which says that the minute you don't have any sort of financial obligations, everybody turns towards art, something like that. And I think for me, it would definitely be that I wish I would have more time for creative hobbies and just being able to do whatever I want. And a bunch of my friends back home they're all, a couple of them are design professors. And then another works in publishing, but she's also an illustrator. So I think I do have a circle of friends who are very much into art and music and fandom. So, and they're also a part of one of my book clubs. So I think that's that's what life without obstacles is going to look like, that I can meet them every single time, whenever I want to, and we can just sit and yap about books and art.
Nice.
Honestly, being an influencer where your content is your hobby is like the dream
That's the
come
dream
true.
life,
Imagine
yeah.
getting paid to just do what you love. Like,
I know.
that
Or
means
even like
the dream job,
witness what you love.
the dream job does exist, but
But I am one of the people who propagates that don't turn your hobby, don't turn your hobby
Into
and do what you love
your
into
career.
a career, because it will
Gotcha.
burn you out and you'll start hating the thing you really love.
Yeah.
Because in some ways that happened to me, where I think I'm watching content for a living and making content for a living in terms of television production. At some point you start watching everything around you and start examining it as if it is work. So you can't turn that side of your brain off. Even if you're watching a reel or you're watching a movie, you'll start seeing mistakes in everything.
Yeah.
That becomes a little irritating.
I
Yes.
can understand that. As someone,
I can kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
I also think that I'm the type of person, or that this is why I'm the type of person to never make up my mind in terms of a career, because I'm like, I'm going to get bored of this. I need something else. I can't see my interest lasting for years and years, or like until the end to retirement. I think I constantly need something new to work on, new to experiment with, new to take part of. So hopefully wherever I end up, creative direction, maybe. Let's hope so. It ends up giving me so many opportunities in different fields, so that one day in my life never looks the same in a work environment. I think I would thrive in that environment where
Definitely.
I'm just chosen to give in.
I can see that
different
for both
challenges.
of you, actually. I was going to ask both of you, out of curiosity, have you guys started like breaking apart? Like, because both of you, I've noticed like in the past year including myself too, but like have really indulged in like the gaming world and like how building out gaming projects. Like, have you started like breaking apart like the games that you play and wonder how like the mechanics work and like what they used and all that stuff?
Yep.
I don't play enough of video games to be able to answer that at the moment.
I'm doing that with Split Fiction, and what else am I playing right now? That's all that's coming to my head. I feel like I'm playing a couple more. Oh, the F1 game, but I actually have no criticisms on that. It's such a good game, and it's so detailed, like to the point where every strategist that you choose matters. And then even like the pit stops, whenever you choose to turn on DRS, all of that is so accurate.
So if you choose a sober car, you're going to have really bad pit stops? Okay.
Yes. Like you also, the cars that they like have that you can choose, it'll be accurate to the performance in the year. So the game I have is 24. So all the cars in 2024, however they performed, that's how the cars are in the game. It's like accurate that way. So it's really cool.
Okay. How does the championship work though in the game?
So you can either do it by yourself and then it'll have like AI races, or you'll do it against somebody. So I'm doing it against like my boyfriend, but I'm not doing very well at all. But yeah. So I just choose a rookie and I'm like, it's okay. It's a rookie.
At least you're having fun with it.
I am. I'm having lots of fun with it.
I think you got a new game to add to your
list.
like your list.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you've said that you're in your Alicia 2.0 era. When we've talked about this outside of the podcast. So, what pushed you to take a leap of reinventing yourself, and what has the journey been like?
I've already spoken about this multiple times, but I think it is when I felt like I wanted to learn something new. I really felt like I'd been living the same life that I'd been doing every day, the same schedule, the same routine for I think about 6 years at that point. And I never actually lived outside of Mumbai. So there was a point where I thought, am I going to spend the rest of my life in the same city where I grew up? And the thought was really terrifying that I have not experienced any other kind of life other than the one that I'd been living. And so that really pushed me to start thinking about what else I want from myself in life. And being able to travel as much as I could in my 20s, that really inspired it all, because I could see what life is like for people outside of India. And not that I would say my life in India sucked. I think it was more of just the desire to explore a new place, because I had never lived anywhere else. Yeah, because most of my friends were, especially at work, were people who had moved from other parts of India to Mumbai, and so they'd be living all these adventures. And I love watching rom-coms, and so
Me too.
when you see protagonists like struggling in the first half of the movie, and like they haven't reached their big breakthrough yet, and I would tell myself that I'm still at the pre-intermission part of my movie, and so in many ways when I decided that okay, I need to do something drastic, but not like crazy drastic, but it just felt like it was a go big or go home kind of moment, that if I took one step backwards to take a stop in my career to go to grad school, it might change the way the next 5 years of my life would be. And I think that itself was worth it. But I think I definitely credit one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's called Jack's Gap, although it's like rebranded now. But this guy called Jack Harris, he's from the UK, and his twin brother ran that channel. And he simply started that channel in his own gap year after high school in the UK. And this is 2012. So this is teenage Alicia inspiring the current Alicia. But he started a YouTube channel and he just thought, I'm just going to record myself doing crazy things. Like he just wanted to make videos of himself and document that 1 year of his life where he said, I'm just going to take time out to learn who I am and learn new things before I decide to jump into university. And there isn't really such a concept of anyone doing a gap year in India, because you just go from high school, go to university, and then you're working. And I had never really taken any sort of a gap. I had actually, on the final day of my undergraduate exams, exactly the day after that was when I got my job offer. So that summer, I knew I was going to start a job in another 2 months. And then since then, it had just been that. I never got the chance to stop and think, okay, what else could life look like? And then that program with Google, which was the Rare with Google Leadership Academy, I think that really pushed me to, because I started meeting people from all over the world and they talked about their experiences. And I thought, okay, I need to find a way that I can also live this life.
Yeah. And I hope you are right now. You're doing incredible in so many things and so many projects. Like, I'd be very surprised if something that you're really hoping for doesn't come along your way soon.
It has been a complete adventure. And I think my newsletter also helps document that a lot in some way or the other. Where
it's really important.
So I have a place that I can look back to in 5 years that, okay, this is what was in my mind at that point, like a cute little diary for myself.
Yeah.
So I like that.
So what's a dream that you had as a kid that you still secretly hold on to?
I think I was, okay, this might be ridiculous, but I wanted to be famous.
So that's, like we can make that work. She wants to be famous. Go into influencing.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm doing right now, right? In this moment, I used to do this thing where I'd look at myself in the mirror and pretend that I was one of these, they used to have these reality shows where you would call in and request a song.
Yes.
And this was, I think, people who were called VJs, and they were influencers before influencers were a thing. And I would feel like, oh, I want to do that. and I think so. I did feel like it was more like being ridiculous enough at that point to think that people need to stop and sit and listen to everything I say. Maybe that's where it took root at that point, that I'm going to have a platform where people are going to listen to my thoughts, and then that's going to make me famous. So I think I've found some ways to do that.
That's not that far-fetched from what you're currently doing.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
So I think, I've always considered that I'm dramatic, and obviously it made sense that I found a career in television making dramatic shows. And like another fun fact that I love telling people when I meet them for the first time is that I shared my birthday with John Green, like Chad Michael Murray and Rupert Grint. And so, and my name, I was also named after like a 90s Indian pop star. And so she's an absolute icon. And so I feel like I was destined to be this really fandom, dramatic person.
Self-cultured, educate,
stars aligning and all of that.
Yeah. I find your brain very fascinating. And I think you're going to go on to do incredible things, more incredible things, because you already have.
It's also great to like share memes and you actually know what I'm talking about. Like,
yes, I know. The one thing I was telling her earlier that I admire about her is she can find something in common with everyone that she meets, something to fangirl about, something to appreciate, something to talk about. And I find that trait so admirable because
you're open-minded.
Makes you, and it's also so nice to be able to find a connection to everyone that you meet, because it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm not going to really enjoy talking to this person, or I'm not really into this vibe, but You're
Yeah.
so, malleable, I guess is the
I
word.
think
but
as an introvert, I feel like that's one of the greatest gifts I have. Because
yeah.
I'm really scared of small talk, and that's something that
I hate small talk. Oh my
I
god.
think it was a culture shock moving here. Because in Asia, small talk is not a thing.
No.
Yeah.
You don't stop and ask
They
the
just
cashier.
get to the chase. Like,
Yeah.
You don't talk to the cashier and ask them how's your day. And so whenever people ask you how are you, ask me how are you, I kind of just like, huh? Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Like, why are you asking?
I can tell you I'm a mess.
And so I think being in a culture now where small talk is the thing, being able to even say things like, oh, did you watch the hockey game last night? Or things like that. It really helps just connect to people.
which I think you've done a really good job. And also considering that like you're one of the MDM reps too, like everybody has found a way to connect with you, and that's why they trust you to like, do all the things that you guys are doing right now, even you too, Sneesha. So like I feel like it's a very positive thing to have, right? And like,
power.
I've never seen you ever like in any social situation exclude anybody. Like you're actually actively listening to even to the people who don't know how to like break into a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I have an in with the introverts. I've spoken to a lot of people in our class who tell me that, like we see you as an introvert, and you're the most extroverted person out of all the introverts right now. You represent us.
What's your MBTI?
I don't know.
We did in Diana's class though, no?
We didn't have to do it for Diana's class.
What? I had to do it. What are you?
I don't know. Or I probably blanked out the day she asked me to do it because I don't remember.
Okay. I'm going to make you do it again.
Maybe.
To answer your question, I'm either an INFJ in like normal settings, but like when I'm locked in like academically or like in like work settings, I'm the logistic person, ISTP or something. The logician, the whatever.
Logician, yeah.
Yeah,
I like
that
that
one.
it's two different ones for you. Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like for people it varies in the different environments, but yeah, apparently that's what I am.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely an I something.
Yeah, me too. I'm the Hannah and Aiden know my thing. I forget it all the time. But yeah. No, I was saying the 4-letter personality thing. I just said that you know mine.
Didn't she
that's
tell
all.
you?
I know. I love putting you through them. Not to torture you,
like
but
them?
just because she hates them.
Wait, I think I remember this conversation.
Yeah. No, she
you were not
despises
feeling
them.
Yeah, apparently I am in like academic spaces. I don't really fully like believe in the quizzes, but it's like nice to see kind of like how you can be perceived by a test.
Yeah. I also won't lie. Like I was called out very deeply with that test.
I should
so I might
definitely
actually
take
believe
this.
it.
What was yours though? Do you INFJ?
What is mine? INFJ?
I think you would.
What is yours? I'm what you are.
I think you said you
what?
would T
ISTP?
something.
Oh, maybe ISTP. I thought I was INFJ.
I know Victoria was INFJ, right?
No, I don't remember. I don't know. We said it on another episode though. It's there. My
I
history
feel
is
like
somewhere
those
out there.
those also change as you get older too. Like because like when you
they
develop
do.
as a person,
But I was definitely
It also-
something.
Yeah, I think it definitely also depends on when you take the test because you might be in a
Yes.
very different frame of mind. And
Exactly.
as two people here who study psychology and studied intelligence tests in detail during our curriculum,
that
you
must
know
have been a doozy.
Yeah.
that the conditions of when you take the test always influence
They
the
really
result
do
of
matter.
it.
Yeah. Yes.
So you
Yeah.
can't really. I mean, you study multiple chapters on the different types of intelligence tests, and at the end of
Yes.
it, they'll tell you that ultimately it does not determine. I mean, the test cannot determine your true intelligence. So I'm
It's
like, why are we even doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Okay, yeah. So I'm an
I can
INFJ.
see that for you though. I can definitely see that.
I don't even remember what it is, but thank you.
Jon Snow.
Huh?
Jon Snow.
I love Jon Snow.
He's an INFJ.
Okay, cool.
And
Is he actually?
I think Dumbledore might be too.
I love Dumbledore. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm really happy. Okay, I'll take it.
So speaking of like Diana and the quiz, so like inspired by Diana's class, like what does failure mean to you, and what are your feelings on it?
I had a very complicated relationship with failures because I was one of the people who you'd consider as the gifted children from school. And
Virgo
I think,
perfectionist.
yeah, exactly. I'm also a Virgo. So the burden of not getting a question right on your test would quite literally keep me up at night. There were times where I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and I'd get up and go to my textbook and look at the answer and be like, oh no, I wrote that wrong in the test. And I would, it would haunt me for days. And to the point where I would kind of be pushing myself so hard to make sure that I never get a single answer wrong in my test. And right up all the way through to finishing my undergrad. And then I jumped headfirst into an industry where the success rate is very low. Like maybe 1 in 10 shows that release get a breakthrough with the audience. And so that's when I had to deal with just realizing that you might put in every single ounce of effort on a project. There have been times, especially during the pandemic, when we produced things, there have been lockdowns, there have been closures. There were times where only 10 people could be on a set at the same time. You worked all through the night changing scripts, and you get a call in the morning saying, hey, this actor actually has been diagnosed with COVID. He can't come to the shoot, and this episode needs to go on air in 48 hours. You sit and rewrite the script with the writers back right then to make sure something gets shot.
That's so stressful.
You could put in every ounce of effort and something might still not be liked by the audience, or it might just not get the ratings because there is some show that's against it at that point doing better, and there's nothing you can do. So I really had to completely reframe my relationship with failure, because there were times where I would blame myself for it, or I would feel like, okay, I'm not creative enough as a person because this particular show failed. And I would really beat myself up a lot until there was a point where I had to stop thinking that way, and because it was ruining me as a person, and I was losing faith in myself as a creative.
Right.
And the pandemic especially was very difficult because you're locked up and everybody around you is having a miserable time. People are having a hard time. People are losing family members. And that's
horrible
when
things were happening.
Horrible thing. 2021 was a horrible year. And I remember having a really rough patch in work at that point, and you feel like, okay, I can't even speak to anyone about this because nobody else is going to understand, and everybody else is dealing with a lot. And so there was I think that year was really a breakthrough, because I then got into the Google program, right? Name dropping this too many times this episode, but that was really, now when I look back on it, was really a turning point in my life, because that's when I felt like, okay, I'm not bad. Like, it's okay if my shows fail. There's still something in my life that was a positive and considered me worthy at that point, because you really start to beat up your self-worth. And I think this is definitely a hazard of being in a creative profession.
I agree.
That if something fails, you might start to consider yourself as not good enough, which I think I'm still learning to deal with, because there are days where I feel like, I like for the game design class that we did as well, that I think I made something and I was not proud of it. And I beat myself up over it, thinking like, no, how can I not be good enough? And so I think it's slowly learning, like coming back to Diana's class, right? She spoke about practice makes progress, and not practice makes perfect. I think that's something that I'm really trying to imbibe in myself every day, because it's not everyone's going to like the work that you do, and it might not always succeed, and you're going to have to learn to be okay with it. You have to reframe what failure means to you, or what success means to you, in fact, in a way.
And I think that's also something I'm personally working on too, but I think the way you've reshaped it for yourself, and also the advice that you give to everyone is really meaningful. Like, you're able to make us feel better.
You do
a lot of the times, and I don't know what it is. Like, you relate to us very well. You like come down to our level, but then you also make us feel like failure is not a bad
the
thing.
end of the world.
And it's not a bad thing.
I definitely feel so. I think it's something that I have learned to live by over the last 3-ish years. One, again, coming back to Princess Diaries, because that movie has gems and can turn your life around. Where Joe tells Mia that nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. And I think that is something that anybody working in the creative profession really needs to take to heart and make sure they live by, because there will always be people who criticize you, and you need to learn to demarcate that it's a criticism of that one thing that you probably made. It's not a criticism of who you are as an artist or a creative. You have to detach yourself from the outcome.
Right.
And I definitely owe it all to my colleagues initially back then as an intern. People were patient with me when I was learning. And it's something that I always keep in mind, that when I meet people who are much younger than me and who feel like they don't have a detection yet or are beating themselves up over it, I like to put myself in the shoes of those people back then, how they were calm with me and taught me through my mistakes. And of course, met my fair share of people who were really harsh and had all kinds of meltdowns in the workplace and whatnot. But I always remember that there was one person at that point in my first year as a proper rookie producer. She would calmly tell me what was wrong without making me feel like the world is ended.
And that's what you do for us.
And I think that's something. In fact, she was one of the people who helped me get through to the MDM program. So she's still very much a mentor in my life. And I really like to just put myself into the shoes of who I was and who she was for me at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think kindness is very underrated. I really bawled through the last scene of Everything Everywhere All at Once at that point, because
that movie,
that message was so powerful. And I think people really need to take kindness for what it is and not see it as a weakness. A lot of people will tell you that being nice is actually bad and that nice people finish last, but we have to fight through all of those people.
Yes, we do.
Break the stereotypes.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we have to wrap up. So it's our last segment now. Alt before you go. But she's not really going anywhere. We're holding her hostage for our producer needs.
And I'm the one who's making everything you're seeing anyway, so I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly. What is one weird flex about yourself that you're secretly proud of?
Actually, it's a flex that I like telling myself that my 13-year-old self would never, my 13-year-old self would freak out that I actually worked for Disney. Just
amazing.
Like I had an email ID that was like, at Disney.com.
Yeah,
like,
we brushed past that. But the fact that you worked for Disney is such a huge accomplishment. Yeah. That's a huge company.
Speaking to your inner child and telling them that, hey, we did it.
Like little you would be in awe of the person that you are right
me
now.
in my living room watching High School Musical and Hannah Montana and all of that. The thing that even in some way got to associate with that organization that made the things that I love was, I think,
incredible.
It's a flex for sure.
For sure. Okay, so now we're going to play a game called Blurt. So we're going to take turns blurting out words, and then you're going to tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? So Momna, you go first.
Ferrari.
Charles Leclerc.
McLaren.
Oscar Piastri.
Meme.
Me.
Yes.
Nostalgia.
Food.
Tumblr.
Superlock.
Sparkle.
Edward Cullen.
Fandom.
My life.
Okay, F1.
Fast cars.
Okay. Love it.
Good job.
Yeah, you did well.
For our final question, because I feel like you'd make something creative out of this one. But what's a made up holiday that you would celebrate?
Oh, okay. I think I already do have a little bit of this tradition with my friends. So a bunch of us who were friends through work, and then it was a group of their friends. We'd never been on a group chat together.
Right.
We knew of each other's existence. We were on each other's social media, but we never were on a group chat together. But a couple of years ago, on the day of the Met Gala, one of them said, enough is enough. I cannot be speaking across 5 different group chats. She put all of us into a group chat together, knowing very well that this is the kind of people who will not combust in a group chat together. The same people from my book club and, the artsy people that I was telling you about. And so that group got the name Met Gala. And so we kind of considered it as a national holiday because after that, I think everybody really got to know each other better and bonded. And they really inspired me and pushed me in my journey to MDM. And every time I have a stupid question about illustrating, I ask them. And because a couple of them are design professors, so they really know their thing. But I think Met Gala is now our thing.
That's so sweet. I love that you all share that.
And now this year I was in the same time zone as Met Gala, so it was a bit weird and funny. Because otherwise in India, you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch that. Wow. So we'd be rolling in bed in our pajamas and eating people's outfits. So that adds to the whole layer of a made-up holiday.
Wait, so can I ask, do you have top 3 favorite outfits? Maybe we can have Hannah or Aiden just insert a picture, top 3 favorite looks from any of the years.
Anything that comes to your mind?
Unfortunately, the only thing that comes to my mind, and this is not a favorite, is the Rihanna omelette dress because me as a person, as you would have understood through whatever minutes of conversation you just seen, I remember the memes. That's how I process the world.
So which one? Sorry.
The omelette dress from Rihanna. She was wearing this yellow dress that had a huge train, which basically looked like an omelette.
Oh,
and
gosh.
yeah, people just compare it to an omelette. And obviously Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra, because she was wearing the trench coat dress, and that was the year they met, and then they got married. And I think I remember Katy Perry's burger dress, because she was taking pictures in the bathroom after.
One.
But yeah, I think in terms of memorable costumes, definitely I think any of the costumes that were in the movie Ocean's 8. 'Cause I am a huge Mindy Kaling fangirl, and that movie is something that it represents anything that I would want to make in terms of content. It's fun, it's smart, it's emotional, it's made by women, and you can just have a good time watching it. I think
Ocean's 8 was it was such a fun movie to watch. I think it was very funny. Yeah, but
very lighthearted.
I wish I had fashion related answers to give you for this one right now, but all I remember are the memes.
Yeah, we'll come up with some more. No
it's all
biggie.
good.
But we're going to wrap up now. Thank you so much for coming on. You are an incredible
Thank you for having
producer.
me.
You're keeping this whole podcast alive, and you also brought it to me and brought my motivation to even have this go on.
Yep.
So thank you so
I'm
much. I appreciate all
glad
your work.
that you took me saying, hey, we should okay, yes, let's make this. You took that seriously, because I mean, it's things that my friends now say as a joke that, oh, if we say we want to make a podcast, you will make us do it because you did it.
I feel like you do that with like everything that, like anything that your friends say that they want to do, you'll be like, okay, yeah, go do it. Like, and you'll check in.
Yeah, she does check
You're
in.
the reason I got to go to Switzerland, and I'll never forget that. Like, I really am grateful that you were able to push me to, because I almost didn't do it. You were able to push me to like actually do that, and also step out of my comfort zone constantly this year. And you are that person.
Yeah. And I also like have had this kind of dream for a while just to do a podcast, because I feel like I would love to just have real conversations with people, but I've been too afraid to put myself out there. So when you actually was like, oh, we have the right people for it. Like we have the team. I have the skill. These guys have these skills. Like we can do it. I slept on it for a little bit because I'm like, it's a lot of work. I don't know if I would be motivated to keep this up. I don't know if I would even do a good job. Imposter syndrome started kicking in. But then you really kind of brought out my like, wait, I could do this. I could really, really do this. And we did it. And it makes me so happy. And I really
reminds
thank
me
you to you.
That I think it was in the Lizzie McGuire movie where there's a song called Why Not, when like she's just on like a scooter across Italy. And I think that was one of the songs that were playing in my head when I moved, because it was like a theme song or something like, why not take a crazy chance? If you lose a moment, you lose a lot, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that phrase was really in my head, and mentioned it in like the first edition of my newsletter, that was me making my move.
It's like, why not? And so what if it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
You've always been that person.
Just do it anyway.
Yeah. I can easily say that this podcast changed my life. So I'm very grateful.
Mine too. Yeah. I've never been in front of the camera ever for anything that I've produced. So
and now you are.
Yeah, there's a first for everything. How do you feel?
You should be very proud of yourself.
I hope that I don't look like a complete dog on the other side of it. But
we love to.
But yeah, I think I hope you enjoyed watching a little bit about me and my world and all of these things here. My illustrations that my friends made of my favorite sports persons. This little hockey puck that I got hit by at a TMU hockey game.
Wait.
Yes, I got hit by that. That's how I have it.
Oh God, okay.
I did not realize that.
And yes, all of my other little K-pop things.
Love it.
I love collecting photo cards, so it's my thing. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of my brain. Yeah.
And to our audience, we thank you for your time and support. We thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. See ya.